The best scams that I've seen from time and time again that people fall for are relationship experts and dating coaches. And what's actually funny to me is that people actually believe these things and they sound very convincing, but in reality, those people are just in it for the money. They don't have your best interest at heart. All these so called pickup artist techniques, when people try them, the woman will either slap the guy in the face or she will just tell him, I'm not interested in you, and she rejects you very harshly. And what's actually strange is that, a lot of these people who are dating coaches, the techniques they try themselves, they don't even work because otherwise their students would have been successful, but they are not successful. And that's why a lot of these students complain and they never go back to these classes ever again. But like what works for somebody is not going to work for everybody else because they say, oh, it's guaranteed to work. This woman will melt in your arms within a matter of seconds and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, that's not the truth. And relationship experts are probably the best scam because they say that, you do this, do that. Here are rules to the dating world. Don't be weird. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. Text after 3 days. Give us some time. Text after 10 days. These rules don't even make any sense. Like, I don't really understand that, you know? And what's weird to me is that these so-called relationship experts, 99% of them are not even in a relationship. They're single as hell. The majority of these relationship experts are single. The only relationship so-called expert who happens to be married is Steve Harvey. And he's not a relationship expert. He's actually just a comedian. He only tells women what they want to hear so he can make money off of them. He doesn't really mean these things that he says. I mean, as much as I love Steve Harvey, he's not fit to be a relationship expert. He's a funny guy. I mean, he always makes me laugh, and he still does. But other than that, he's just a comedian. He's never going to be a relationship expert. That's not his field. That's not what he's fit for. And he never was fit for that kind of thing. Never at all. But when we're talking about, and he's the only guy who's married that I know, but every other relationship expert, like from Matchmaker Millionaire, that reality show that used to exist, I don't know if it still runs anymore. Um, that show, that the owner of the Matchmaker for the Millionaires or whatever, she herself is definitely single. She's always looking for love, as they say, and she herself doesn't even have a relationship. She's single. So what? So the thing is, with all this money that you pay for these relationships, relationship experts, these relationship therapists, or whatever it is, I mean, why would you trust somebody like that? They're single. Honestly, the only people you should ask for relationship advice or marriage advice, even, are the people who have been married for 20, 30, 40, 65 years. Those are the people that actually have a reason to give advice because they know it, they've experienced it. They're the ones who are actually happy. They know what they're talking about. But a relationship expert, I'm not going to pay a penny for those kind of people. If you offer it for free, then I can listen to some of that advice. But I'm not going to listen to somebody who really is, not in it for your best interest, but he's only in it for your money. Relationship experts, relationship coaches, like in all these advertisements for like, you know, um, get the girl of your dreams and what have you. Those are scams. You cannot put your faith in those kind of people. That to me doesn't make any sense. I mean, how people can fall for that is quite frankly ludicrous. I mean, you have guys like Richard LaRuna, Richard the Gambler, and you have Kezia, who are just scam artists. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. I mean, I can give you so many examples, but that might be for another video because it's going to be like too many. Or maybe I can give one. But I mean, Richard Leroy says, like, touch a woman's dress, say like, "Oh, is that satin? What material is that?" And then you could start a conversation. I'm like, that's your best pickup. That's kind of weak and that's kind of lame. So really, like, I just don't really see, and Kezia argues that, being a nice guy means that you're boring, and it means that, you're not attractive. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She clearly has daddy issues anyway. But when we're talking about every other dating coach out there, uh, um, she herself, others, they're single, their techniques don't work, they just want your money. And they sound convincing. That's why they have a lot of people coming to them when they make their business. But relationship experts, the vast majority of them, at least 99% of them, they're single. Why would you want to ask a person who's single on relationship advice? That's like asking a person who's been divorced 5 to 6 times, how do you um, maintain the perfect marriage? Does that make any sense? I don't think so. I mean, if you have parents who've been married for like 50 years and they're happily married, or if you ask others who've been like grounded, and they have a solid foundation, those are the people you should ask for marriage advice or relationship advice. Don't ask these people who, make a lot of money, just so you can attend their therapy seminars or their classes or whatever it is, and get you riled up and excited just so they can rip you off in the long run. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe you can try hypnotherapy. I don't know if that works. Give it a try. Um, but if all else fails, okay, whatever. Like, you know, I mean, realistically, there shouldn't be rules and advice for how to get the girl or how to get the guy. And these books about, like, 5 ways she's into you, 5 signs she's into you, and all this thing about these things about uh 7 ways he will fall for you. That's a whole bunch of baloney because my preferences and my taste in women is completely different. It's not gonna apply for every single person to me. Like, it's not gonna apply for every single person. What most men like in women, I actually don't find that attractive. That's just the bottom line. But anyway, um, those are my 2 cents, and I hope you got a good laugh out of this video because most people find it hilarious when I bring up the point. Some people find it funny when I bring up the point that relationship experts are single, so they really don't have any advice or room to talk at all. But anyway, but they're human, I guess, but they shouldn't act like but they make it seem like they have the answer to everything when it comes to relationships and marriages. But they themselves are the divorcees or people who've been single for decades. That's why I wouldn't ask that girl from woman from Millionaire Matchmaker, or ask someone like Ayanla for relationship advice, because Ayanla doesn't want to get married and she wants to be single for the rest of her life. But she can give advice for anything else. She can be very helpful. But when it comes to marriage, she's not the person I would ask for that kind of advice. I'd ask someone else who's been married for like 75 years or something. That makes more sense. Anyway, you guys have a nice day.